All right, so we are live. Welcome everyone to the Monday Conversations by DQ Labs. As promised, this Monday we will be talking about the architectural awareness that might come in NATA 2021. So just as a reminder, all the students of DQ Labs, we have uploaded two new NATA mock tests on the Edge portal. So please go there and access the two new mock tests. It is as per the new pattern. Okay, so please do access and take tests and get the feedback and see where you are making mistakes and you can fine tune those areas. All right. So to take today's webinar, we have a special person. He is architect Surinder. So architect Surinder will take you through the latest happenings in the world of architecture. All right. So he has also done his master's from Milan. So he's an internationally well-versed, well-traveled, well-versed architect. So let me welcome architect Surinder.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, please, you can share your screen and you can start your presentation. Yeah. Okay. Guys, and I suggest you to please take a pen and a paper, note down all the terms, names that have been discussed, and later I would want you to Google them and get thorough understanding of those words and vocabulary. All right? Okay. All yours, Surinder.
Yeah. I'm just trying to share my screen now. Just a moment. So, good evening, everyone. Let me introduce myself also once again. My name is Surinder. I'm a practicing architect. So, yeah, I think most of the students would have already had a PTM with me. Yeah, let's get straight to the point. What we'll be seeing today is we'll be seeing the latest advancements, whatever is happening in architecture, and I'll try to cover up most of the points that's been happening in the past 5 years. That will include contents such as the latest famous buildings, famous architects who has come under the radar in the last 5 years. We'll also discuss about the architecture awards, architecture related books and documentaries that you might have to look out for, because we just saw that a few questions were asked based on this as well. And some latest building materials with some photos, so that, it'll be like show and tell kind of questions, possibly. Building technology latest or alternative technologies that will also be a part of that material ones. And we also have materials on interior design, color, psychology, and a few questions were also popping up based on the branding details. It will be also helpful for students who are going to do study in NID as well. So we'll be discussing that as well. And finally, we'll also be seeing a little bit of building anatomy if time permits. Yeah. So let's get straight to it. So I've just collected a few notable projects that has popped up in the world of architecture. So in the past few years. So the image that you are seeing right now is at the Beijing Daxing International Airport that was designed by Zaha Hadid, and it was opened in the year 2019. It's in Beijing, China. One more trivia to note about Zaha Hadid is that she is one of the architects to be awarded the Dame Award, the Lord and the Dame that is being awarded in the United Kingdom. And yeah, she passed away in 2016, unfortunately. Umesh, am I audible? Is my screen fully visible? Hello? Hello?
You are audible, the screen is visible. Sorry for the noises.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Yeah. Okay, one more very important project is that the Louvre Abu Dhabi Museum. You would have seen that Louvre Museum that was designed by IMP Part 1, that is in Paris, and this one is in Abu Dhabi. So they paid a very big amount of money to get the licenseship for this, and it's in Abu Dhabi. and it was opened in 2019, and it was designed by an architect called as Jean Nouvel from France. This is a like a under construction one that is designed by a famous architect called as Kengo Kuma, and it is an art museum that is located in Turkey. So if you see, like this might be a picture that can be like show and tell kind of pictures, and if you see the works of Kengo Kuma, it's mostly something very similar to this, whatever you're seeing the style. And this one is a library in Sharjah with a very big, massive floating roof. It is being like very notable in the field of architecture for its massive cantilever roof, as you see, and it's under construction since 2020. And it was supposed to be open in 2020, but due to the pandemic, it was stopped. And it's in Sharjah, and it's designed by Foster and Partners. So a very remarkable one, a very funky architecture design that popped up in 2017 was the Lego house by Bjarkingel Groups. So it's located in Denmark, and like this is the hometown where the Lego was first like marketed and produced. So this is something like not like entirely like a museum, but it's called as Lego house, and it's like an experience center, a tribute to Legos and stuff like that. A few other hypothetical upcoming projects is the Coral Bloom by Foster and Partners. That's in Shuraya's Island in the Red Sea, and the King Street West was that's done by Frank Gregory in London. That's going to be like coming up as one of the like they are targeting it to be the tallest in London, but like it's still like in let's see, the construction is yet to be started for this. And the most famous Statue of Unity that like was opened in 2018. So like in NATA, like we just noticed that repeated questions were revolving around this particular projects that's coming up in India. So so the development of this kind of projects is what we'll be seeing in the next coming slides. That is to develop tourism and like linkages in infrastructures in India. So most common mistake what students tend to do is the location of this place. Make a note of the location of this particular statue. So because when they ask you, like naming the other cities in Gujarat, the students might tend to get confused on that. So this is another project called as the Vessel New York, opened in 2017, done by the Heatherwick Studio. And this project, a very notable thing is that it is facing a lot of criticism, and there has been a lot of news that has been popping up in architecture world about a lot of negative topics on this, because there has been a lot of like accidents that happen here, people falling, and like there's a 3 people have died so far in this project. So currently this project has been sealed off, and it's facing a lot of criticism for its design. And the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures by Renzo Piano, the design was approved in 2020, and it's going to be one of the largest museum of motion pictures that's going to come up in Los Angeles in USA. And to talk about the upcoming projects that has been proposed by our Prime Minister recently, we'll just look into a few of it and catch up a few key points on it. So the first one is the Sagarmala project that is tending to connect 7,500 kilometers of coastline for easier transportation. This is just going to open up us even more for like international trading. This thing. So on the right, you see the pictures, right? So these are the ports that's going to come up in this project. The second one is the Bharatmala project that comprises of 35,000 kilometers of road connectivity that's being in proposal. And it's, they are planning to finish it by 2025 or later. And one of the most one is the highest bridge in the world on River Chenab. Stands at a mighty 360 meters. This is a project that's still in proposal and it's not confirmed yet. It's still in a hypothetical proposal. So this might, be one of the questions, like possibly one of a very important question, because it's going to become the, the highest bridge in the world, standing at 360 meters plus. From the baseline, it's going to be a 360 meters height one. So the next one is the inland waterway connecting, 4,500 kilometers of waterways, like a river. It was started as river unification program, but then later on it became the inland waterway program. Right now, it's one of the phases of river unification program that is, been in consideration for so many years. And people in Maharashtra would have been very much aware of this. It's the Mumbai Trans Harbour Link bridge that's being in proposal. So let us look into a few terms, and that you have to be acquainted with if you are going to pursue architecture. The first one is the UNESCO. I think you know about UNESCO already, but let me just catch you up briefly. It's the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. So what it basically does is, for in the field of architecture, they just take a lot of culturally important and architecturally important cultural sites, and these comes under these sites will be maintained and conserved by the UNESCO organization, which is an international organization. So if you're from any major city, you would have visited some major UNESCO sites, and the funding comes from the UN, and they maintain it really well. A part of UNESCO, apart from UNESCO, which is an international body, we also have the Archaeological Survey of India, ASI, which I missed out to mention here. So make a note of it. It's called as the Architectural Survey of India, ASI. All the historically important sites will be coming under the conservation project of ASI in India. So that is a point to be noted. Council of Architecture, or the COA, is the council where it's responsible to regulate the education and practice of profession. So Council of Architecture essentially comes up with all the rules. If you're going to become a practicing architect, or if you're going to study in architecture college tomorrow, the rules and regulations or your study syllabus is usually regulated by the Council of Architecture, and you have to register yourself in the Council of Architecture after you graduate to get a number. And so this is a very important body where unless you register in the COA, you cannot practice as an architect. So it's a very important council body. Just like Council of Architecture of India, you might have to get acquainted to two other countries. The first one is RIBA, which is Royal Institute of British Architects, which is a very internationally renowned, people who want to study abroad want to get RIBA accreditation, because once you have a RIBA accreditation, you can practice in most of the countries that's coming under it. So just might have to know about RIBA. And one more thing that popped up into my mind is that students need to know about NASA, which is not the NASA in USA, but the National Association of Students of Architecture. So essentially, these NASA conducts a convention for all the students of architecture in India and sometimes in SAARC countries. It happens in India, and colleges all over, from architecture colleges from all over India, participates in a few set of trophies. Each trophy has an individual one, which you will come to know later. But as of now, you can just get acquainted to the term NASA, that pertains to the Association of Students of Architecture. So I think you will be much acquainted to it once you enter into architecture, which will become a very major aspiration for you to push yourself further. So the IIA, just like the COA, is is an organization, but it's not. It's a bit of a semi-formal organization. This is just for maintaining the register of architects and to test the practical efficiency and the education efficiency in a particular college or by a practicing architect. The difference between COA and IAA is that IAA is a private body and COA is a government induced body. So registering in COA is mandatory for all architects, where IAA is a bit optional. So just like IAA, we also have AIA, which is, the AIA is like the Council of Architecture, but it's for the USA. This thing. Jumping to abbreviation, organizations for the green building one. The international green building one is LEED, which is Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, which pertains mostly to designing green buildings and energy conservation and energy saving on all type of strategies. So it's an exam that you might have to take, and in the future to get yourself accredited as a green architect. So just like the lead internationally, the Indian Green Building Council or the IGBC is our pertains to Indian Green Building Councils. So wings of architectural specialization, I know that this might be a little bit overwhelming because standpoint now, these are just words that you might have to get acquainted with to gain further knowledge. Essentially these are master courses, but you will come across these terms, maybe come across these terms in your NATA exam and in your initial years of architecture. So conservation architecture, where you will be learning how to conserve an old building or something. Like I told, UNESCO is a part of it, and ASI. Landscape architecture, interior design architecture, computational design or parametric architecture, parametric design, building information modeling, and urban design is another course that you might have to look into as well. People who are planning to take B plan also as a course might be acquainted to all these terms. So architectural engineering, which is a bit more technical, you go into a deep and technical calculations and stuff like that. Lighting design is actually a course that you can look into. Art and set designers, you can also become an architect for designing art sets for movies, or in CGIs, the environment and the architecture around is designed by architects, like visually this thing, and for a space to look beautiful in a movie. So that is a part of an architecture course. And construction management, which involves managing large scale constructions, planning and execution of large scale constructions. Jumping into parts where we discuss about the major architecture award, you might be already acquainted with Pritzker Prize. So we also have, I just listed 6 prizes that mostly architects follow. The Aga Khan Award, the Riba Awards, Sterling Awards, Dreyhaus Awards, and the Royal Gold Medal. So the Pritzker Prize is an annual award that is to honor a living architect. It is usually the talent is usually gauged on many aspects. It majorly has to be a very significant contribution to humanity. It cannot be building that the tallest building, the building that has the most awesome shape or something like that. It has to the contribution or the dedication for that building towards the users has to be much more consistent and considerate, rather than going for fancy forms. And so Pritzker Prize is mostly awarded for architects lifetime. It's like a lifetime award. All architects aspire to get. So this is a list of the Pritzker Prize winners in the last 6 years. So you might have to make a note of it, right? You can write it down while I explain. So in 2016, Alejandro Aravena, so from Chile, won this thing, and 2017, Rafael Arada and three of them. So they were practicing architects from Spain. So 2018 was a very important year for Indian architects because B.V. Doshi, one of the very, very renowned architects, an architect who all the aspiring architects from India looks upon to, he got the Pritzker Prize 2018. So that was a very, very important benchmark for Indian architects. So that was so you might have to like look upon something even more detailed about B.V. Doshi or the Pritzker Prize winning in 2018 to anticipate some detailed questions maybe, because there are larger chances that questions might revolve around this particular topic. So in 2019, a Japanese architect, Arata Isozaki, won the prize. 2020, Irish couple won the prize, who are Ewan Farrell and Shelley McNamara. And in 2021, which was announced on the 16th of March, very recently, Anne Lacton and Jean-Philippe Vassal from France were the practicing architects who won this award. So you might have to make a note of all this and maybe look up their photos and a bit of their works, so that there are possible, I mean, in the last 2 years, maybe there are possibilities that questions might pop up about, like show and tell pictures of buildings by Anne Lacton and Jean-Philippe. So this is about the Aga Khan Award. So Aga Khan Award happens in chapters. So the recent chapter happened between 2014 to 2019, which is like 5 years of, 6 years of awards. So chapter 14, 2020 Aga Khan and 2020 Aga Khan was cancelled because of the pandemic. So these are the details of, so Aga Khan Award majorly concentrates on, the concept that successfully address the needs and aspiration of Muslim societies. So this also involves a lot of improvements, restoration of existing, historically important buildings. So that is what Aga Khan Award is awarded for. So please do not mistake this award for a newly built project. These are not awarded for newly built projects. These are majorly for conservation without tampering much. Considering society as a whole part. So having said that, I've not added much details on the other awards because these are the major two awards that most of people concentrate on. A few updates on the construction material which just flashed in my mind is that you might have to look into this photo works where you have the porotherm brickworks. Like apart from the conventional bricks that we have seen all along, we also have latest advancements. By the way, if this is a very latest news that came in just last week, all brick quarries from now on are supposed to be, sealed off and closed because there has been a huge environmental damage because of this brick kilns. So starting last week, there has been a serious, they have sealed off all the brick kilns. So brick is not available anymore for building as a building material. So alternative building materials are porotherm bricks, which is essentially done in, it's a clay and a bit of a plastic composite that holds together this particular form. The fly ash bricks are a waste material, from thermal power plants, which is pressed into brick shapes. The block work that I have shown is actually, aerocon blocks, which is also a byproduct of, cement manufacturing and from thermal stations. So people are trying to endorse construction materials that is, a little bit eco-friendly, trying to make usage of the waste materials that is from the factories and stuffs like that. So aerocon blocks and aerocon panels for walls are, something that we are predominantly using in all our projects recently. Lightweight foam concrete is also one of an upcoming product latest one that came up in the last 5 years. And drywall partition, I think, is something that like an aspiring architect should know about, because major construction in USA and Europe happens with drywall partitions. They do not follow like brick wall constructions for the interiors. So drywall partition, that is considering of a framework with sandwiching, like insulation material and like gypsum panel on top, is what they majorly use for their construction. So this is a list of books that you might have to look up to in the recent times. So best-selling architecture-related books. Um, so so what I would say, I mean, these are a little bit detailed, but make a note of this. Maybe take a screenshot of this or something like that, so that you can look up into the details of this book. A very remarkable one one or two very remarkable one that came off late is the Bauhaus updated edition. Little bit more about Bauhaus, just as a knowledge sharing, I would say Bauhaus is one of the first schools of architecture that ever came up in Europe, that supported the practice of contemporary architecture. So Bauhaus school is a very important one, and the philosophies in Bauhaus school is form follows function. So this is a very important philosophy. As an architect, you will be coming across this form follows function ideology throughout your practice from now on. So that is one, and the updated edition of Bauhaus book, this came off recently, and book about the book of Rem Koolhaas came out in 2018. So that is another one. The complete works of Antonio Gaudi. You might have seen the works of Antonio Gaudi. And one more remarkable benchmark that happened in the last 10 years in the world of architecture is that Sagrada Familia, a cathedral that has been under construction for almost 100 years, has been opened recently. They have the design was so complex that the engineers or architects or designers could not manage to complete the design, and the construction it's still under construction, but a part of it has been opened up for public in 2013. In 2027 they are planning to complete all construction and open it. So that is a very important milestone and benchmark in the world of architecture. So this cathedral has been under construction for almost 100 years, and it has been opened recently, and it's located in Barcelona, Spain. So the complete works of Gaudi has been recently documented along with the Sagrada Familia into this book that came out recently. And the others are just Tado Ando's complete works and stuffs like that. So these are the names of some remarkable documentaries that you might have to look up if you are becoming an aspiring designers. Most of it, the titles are just the name of the architects and their works that has been posted. And if you can see through this and stuff like that, and yeah, if you have Netflix or Prime subscription, you can look into a few of this documentaries. One of the very important documentary I would suggest for an aspiring designer is the second one, which is named as Abstract. So have a look at that. If whenever you find some free time, you might get some really good idea about the field of design in total, not only architecture but in design. So yeah, these are the other ones. And Rotterdam 2040 is like the future of architecture kind of documentary. It's not a documentary, but it's like a visionary thing that's about the projects that's upcoming. So apart from this, there is a document series that is in I think in Prime Videos, I suppose. It's titled as Top 10 Architecture or Top 10 Engineering something. So each episode contains, like details about. I mean, if bridges is the topic of discussion in that particular episode, they talk about the top 10 bridges. So educate yourself with that. That includes a lot of study materials that you might come across, or you might have looked up or looked over or something, the heights of the bridges or something. I'm not telling that it's going to be essentially a part or questions that might pop up, but it's very important that you educate yourself with the top 10 in the world of architecture. So it's available in Prime Videos. So jumping on to this color psychology part, you might have come across this particular wheel cycle that is for interiors. So I'm just going to briefly run through what each and everything I mean relates to. You can note down all the keywords in this, because this is a very possible question that might be asked in the questions that, I mean, in the recent mock-up questions that we framed, we concentrated putting in most of this. This is relating to interiors. So starting with red, we associate it to fire, energy, strength, power, and also sometimes love, because and it also gives a mood of like anger, intensity, and excitement and lust. So if you see that in most of the branding, since it shows up excitement. If you see in a lot of food places, they usually do red interiors. That includes like majorly KFC, Pizza Hut, and places like that. So this is one interior design strategy that will be followed. Orange is for cheerfulness, caution, and warmth. I think you can just note down all the keywords that I've just put here. So green relates to nature, money, growth, and life, and it induces calmness, happiness, and patience. Yellow is for friendly, happiness, and optimism. And blue is for like to make you feel relaxed, calm, productive, and cool. And purple is for happiness, playfulness, and productive. So a very detailed one is in the color cycle that you will see here. And in the last few years, we also saw that like a few color brand psychology, I mean color psychology in branding has popped up. So you might have to note down the keywords that has been put inside this, and also make a note that like color psychology of the interiors and branding works in two different ways, not essentially the opposites, but it is two different directions. So you might have to like have a look at both of them. So I'm just going to run through this. You can get a hold of this online as well, and note down the keywords and try to register it inside the head, what each color relates to. Yeah, so branding essentially means logos, and how like the interiors also sometimes look. So you might have to look into that as well. So apart from the apart from the pictures and the projects that I showed before, we also have this list. So let me just like Google up each one of them and try to show it to you. So have a look at this. So this is a very important upcoming project. I mean, it's still under construction. Like, it's not been completed and open for the public due to the pandemic. But this is called as the Twist Museum, a very important notable project. So have a look at this as well. I think we saw this one already, and also this one. Okay, this is done as well. Center. Very important one, Pompidou Center, that has a very important benchmark in the world of architecture. You might you can have a look about this in the DQH platform, DQH study materials as well. This is up for complete renovation starting from 2026. So it's a very important milestone in the world of architecture. The vessel, yeah, so the Lusail Towers. So have a look at this. This is a proposed towers that's coming up in Abu Dhabi. Sorry, Qatar. That is being designed by Foster Plus Partners. So this is a very important one to look further. They are planning to start construction by the end of this year, and it's I think it's targeted to be like a 6 years project. So this is another very important upcoming project designed by Zaha Hadid, the architect that's very famous for curves. So this is a skyscraper that's coming up in another project upcoming by Zaha Hadid is the new art center. So it is also something that is going to, the construction is going to start, but have a look at the image. It is a very, it's a possible question. We don't know. So just to be updated about this one. Zaha Hadid is fascinated by curves, which is reflected in most of her projects, but not essentially all of her projects is involves curves. It also, her major style is deconstructivism, which involves acute angles, sharp edges, and like floating structures. Basically, you might have to look into what deconstructivism is to understand perfectly. A part of deconstructivism is where curves are also involved. Yeah. So the Jeddah Tower, which is proposed to be, taller than the Burj Khalifa, is the construction is started, and it has been, it is supposed to be 1 kilometer tall. A little bit shy of 1 kilometer tall is what I heard, but they are planning it to be exactly 1 kilometer tall. So it is still under construction, and it's in Jeddah. So while talking about this, I would also like you to get updated with the other towers as well that popped up in the last 10 years, because it's a very possible question that might be popping up. Mostly about Abu Dhabi, its height. The Burj Khalifa in Dubai, about its height and stuff like that, and maybe something a little bit more detailed in that aspect. Another notable architect is David Chipperfield, and this is a very latest design that is under construction right now. It is, the exterior is finished construction, but it's still not open to public. It's called as the James Simon Gallery. Okay, the very notable one by Foster's for Apple is the Apple Fifth Avenue store. So it's known for its principle of very simple design, and like how they have taken the natural light to come in, and like how they have integrated the surrounding into like the showroom is actually like it's in the basement of this, and you just have like like a large glass popping up in that plaza, and the rest of it is like concealed under the ground. So it was a very well acclaimed design that was done by Foster's. One more very upcoming young architect is Bjarke Group, or the big architects. So they have, I mean, their projects are really notable, and like a lot of architects follow the works. I mean, keenly follow the works of Bjarke groups and their concepts and the way they present themselves. Uh, uh, this is essentially an architect who proposes a lot of upcoming iconic buildings, and he wins most of the international competitions to build them. So Opus is another building that has been done by Zahadid. As I told before, like Zahadid architects love curves. So they are trying to follow the same language done by, I mean, that Zahadid follows even after her demise. So these are some photos of that project. I mean, yeah. So interiors also, they follow the same language. So this is an exhibition center, Shimau Exhibition Center. So a very major, like head turner in the field of architecture, because this building exterior essentially uses, like a dynamic facade. I mean, not a dynamic facade, I would say it's a digital facade that has, like I mean, when switched off, acts as something different. And like they use the technology called as projection mapping, like to display all these stuffs on top of the exhibition center. It mostly displays the contents of the exhibition that's happening inside. So the Adidas Sports Arena is another very interesting upcoming project still under construction. It's being done by a German architect, and it's still in one more project by Bjarke Group is the Heights. So these are the images for that particular project. So few concepts, how they have tried to like stack up and turn the entire building in a way to like catch a view is very interesting. So this is another riverfront development. I mean, it's a waterfront development done by Zahadid. It's not a building, but it's a river promenade done by Zahadid architects that like reflects the flowy forms that Zahadid usually follows. So the Botanica House, a residence by Guza Architects. These are the pictures of it. Uh, these are very, like very much revolving in social media pertaining to architects, and also in Pinterest. This has a lot of important features inside this. So you might have to, I mean, it's a very detailed one, but just have a look at this picture so that we get, like aware of the projects. So this is the East 22nd Street, and one more architecture firm that you might have to, like keep under the radar is, we keep under our radar is OMA Architects. They do really fabulous work. um, so this is the pictures of that particular so this is another project that has been opened recently, done by Zahadid. Okay, the A45 project is a very interesting prototype building by BIG, I mean Biakingal groups. See, it's a very small project, but it was a very how to say it's a residence that is very simple, minimalistic, something kind of a head turner for the world of architecture for many reasons. The way they have used the materials and stuffs like that, and how they have done the spatial planning for a forest cabin without interfering. I mean, this has very less interference with the reservoir wildlife that is going around it. So they found it very challenging to put a building in the center of a forest without disturb. I mean, by following the norms, attaining by its form and its materials that is being put inside. So the Qatar National Library by OMA, a building that has been under construction and ready to be opened soon, like for the public. The interiors is yet to be completed. A part of it is open in Doha. It's located in Doha, and a part of it is open. And this is done by OMA Architects. So this is a project by Kengo Kuma Architects. So as I showed before, the wooden slats building. So Kengo Kuma particularly follows, a very unique style pertaining to his most of his design. So so if you see a building or a picture that is something related to this wooden slats, like horizontal lines, playing with lines and something like that, you can say like it's done by Kengo Kuma. Even in that, he would experiment mostly with the forms that he's playing with holistically. So if you see, it does not end in boxes. It has a particular profile, but the detailings of the raptor details that they have put inside is very unique to Kengo Kuma's design. So Rightwood 659 is done by Tado Ando after a project that he has wants to do after so long. So this was one of a very important benchmark in milestone in the world of architecture. Um, so this was a very noted project in the field of architecture for how they have, like experimented with brick construction, not a very plain facade. Each and every wall has a very unique, like pattern that the building construction. I mean, they would have experimented everything possible with bricks in this one particular project. They would have diagonally slatted it, and like different patterns, parametric patterns, and they also tried out, like curvilinear cladding with the bricks, and like it all looks very seamless. So this was a very important head turner project for all architects, practicing architects, because like it just shows the various possibilities and versatility of one particular material alone. So this was a very unique project that has come up in recent times. So this project is located in Singapore, called as the Marina One. It's an upcoming project, very like top project in most of it. It's a skyscraper, and it's a very it's a multi-use building which has hotels, offices, and like mall and everything integrated into it. So it's very much known for its like curvilinear designs and like the green space integration into the building. So this is one more very important project done by Herzog and Demure. So it's named as Beirut Terraces. Um, like it's very like a head turner project for all architecture fraternity, because about the cantilevers, and like cantilever might be a very technical term for you now, but then like it is deemed as almost impossible to like see structures that has so much unsupported cantilevers like this. So this was a very important benchmark. No. Okay, so the Marble House by Open Box Architect. This particular project actually won a lot of awards and recognition for the usage of materials. It is still under construction, but it has still won a lot of awards. So it was a notable project for the mainly we followed it for the usage of materials. So that is about that. We have already seen Lower Abu Dhabi and Lego House, the pictures of that already. So that is pretty much the information that I wanted to tell. Apart from that, Umesh, Umesh,
Yes, Surinder.
Umesh. I mean, the rest of the presentation is done.
All right.
So
Okay, great. Yeah, that is perfect. Okay, so let me just take over the screen share.
yeah.
All right, so let me thank architect Surinder for spending time to sharing his knowledge about the architectural happenings in the last 5 years. Thank you so much, Surinder. That was very useful, very enlightening, and very entertaining as well to see such a nice, interesting buildings. All right. So, so as I always say, there is so much to learn, so much to see. The more you gain knowledge in terms of knowledge, awareness, and exposure, the easier it becomes for you to eliminate the answer options in the exam for the questions. Okay, it's not gonna, they're not gonna exactly ask this kind of questions, but it will give you some kind of a basis on which you can eliminate the answer options. All right. So we have a lot of information on architectural awareness on Learn for NATA, especially if you go to the architectural awareness part. All right. So building elements, building technology, color theory, famous building architects. Please go through all of these materials. Very, very important. It will help you to eliminate the answer options, as I always say. So there are fantastic resources available here. Let me just show you one example. Like for example, say building elements A to C, or let us say building elements N to R. Okay, so all the possible elements of buildings have been documented and kept here. So just go through them, look at them, and understand what they are. Visually, try to memorize it visually. Okay, so relate the word with the visual so that it becomes easy for you to remember. Okay, so go through them because they have specifically mentioned they're going to ask about these kind of elements and materials and all of that. Okay, so Let us look at the questions. Bhupati is asking, will we be provided with the rough sheets during the exam? Your hall ticket can be a rough sheet. You can work out at the back of your hall ticket. Right? Chaitanya Mandar is asking, sir, can you give few tips for learning GK? So answering GK is basically the process of elimination. Okay, because it is highly unlikely that they will ask a question that we all know, everybody knows. It's not possible, right? So that is the reason the best tip is to capture and absorb as much information as possible, okay, during the preparation, so that it can be used for eliminating the wrong answer choices in a given exam. So that is the best tip, best approach for studying this stuff. All right. And yes, for all the non-BQ students, we have got a NATA strategy test 2021 on the website. I have also shared it in the YouTube link. Please go there and answer this test. After you answer the test, it will specifically show you what you're good at, what you're bad at. Let me look at one sample attempt. So you would exactly know your approaches, how you are answering the questions, how many you have eliminated, how many you got right, elimination, random choice, etc. Most importantly, you'll get to know the danger topics, score more topics, and master topics. Danger topics are the topics that you should be studying immediately to stop losing your score. Okay. And then one nice beautiful graph which basically shows your proficiency, knowledge proficiency. Green shows that you have mastered that particular topic. Yellow shows that you're good in elimination in those topics. Red shows that you have randomly got some marks in those topics, right? Okay, and then it'll also show all the red topics are the topics that you should be very careful in the exam, and the green and orange are the ones you can easily sail through. Okay, so it basically improves your metacognition in terms of what to answer, what not to answer. All right. Another important tip I would like to give you is, once you take the test, if you come here, you'll get a small dashboard. Let me just switch to student insights. All right. So these are the topics that you should be studying and understanding immediately ASAP. So click on that topic and you get questions related to the topic, and you can start studying those topics thoroughly. And what you do is, once you finish studying those topics, click on mark as studied, and a new topic will be shown so that you can go and study the topic more thoroughly. Okay, so these are the tips. Sophia is saying, yes, sir, thank you so much for your time. Pleasure, Sophia. Bhupati is saying, if we answer one question, can we go back and change if we have done some mistakes? So the interface, they keep changing the interfaces. The NATA guys, unfortunately, the monkeys who are sitting there preparing the interfaces and all that, they are very fickle in minded. So I hope they give you the option of going through the previous questions, but please get accustomed to the interface. Yeah. All right. Bhupati is asking, is there any free online study material? Some part of the material is free. You can go there and access wherever it is written free will be free. For example, let us say you go to architectural awareness, they say free, that means free. You can go through all that material for free. All right. Otherwise, you have to pay a little bit amount, but at least it is worth it, because you have a second attempt. If you don't do well in this first attempt, you can also use this material to restudy and then attempt the second attempt. So it is worth the investment. All right. So Devaki, sir, when will we get the admit card? It will be soon. It will be soon. And guys, if you are not subscribed to this video, please subscribe, and please like and please share this information with your friends. This is one creative field. In creative field, the competition is cooperation. The more you cooperate, the better you succeed. That is how the creative fields are. So please feel free to share this material with your friends, those who are taking the exam, and we wish you all the best and do very well. Okay. I would like to thank Architect Surendra one more time for his time. Okay. And all you guys, wish you all the best. So I'm gonna stop this stream, live stream now.